Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video is going to actually be a series that I'm going to compile that's going to be all of the cards in BT8. Yeah, we're doing a card by card review. We're going to look at every single card in the set. Now this time around, I'm going to break it up into colors, and so I'll release a video going over each color, and then I'll do a video also covering both starter decks that come out at the same time as the main set does. So I'm just going to use the same intro for all of them. So just find the video that interests you most, the color, and then watch that one. I'll create a playlist, so if you want to watch them all, you can also watch them all. Don't forget, our memory marker this month that came out is Hookmon. So if you're playing a Ryudemon deck in BT7, or you're going to build a Ryudemon deck in BT8, this is a great memory marker for that deck, I think. Super cute, handmade out of clay by my wife, hand-painted face as well. You can find this on our Etsy store, link in the description below. Also on that store, you can find all of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, as well as some of our Battle Ready Inc. merch. All right, next up on our train, we got black here. I'm pretty excited for this. This is really cool stuff. Like, I'm excited for Imperial and blue and, you know, armors, that sort of thing. But black's about to be a meta contender again, like a serious meta contender after so long. So really digging this. Kyokyoomon here is your turn. Once per turn, when an effect places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, it gets 1000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's an X antibody card, but I think the Dorimon here that's in the picture, or Dorimon that's in the picture here, is just the better of the X antibodies. Just being able to draw, like every time you place a card from your hand as a resource, it's imperative to draw a card to replace that. So Dorimon's definitely gonna be your black one for go-to here. Just looking at a couple other cards here, we've got a red-blue here, or red-black, sorry. Vanilla, you're trading off the 2 Evo costs of the old ones for an extra DP. So you get 1 more Evo cost, 1 more DP. Most other colors, this is like pretty garbage. But in black with Hyssiriorimon, I think that could be argument to use it with that. But that's really about the only use I can see out of these guys. Also, we got Cyclomon here for black. Could be really good with like a Black War Grey Mon deck. When attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2000 DP or less. Could be useful. It's a little bit more restrictive than a lot of these other targeted removals that we've got. But it is interesting, and it is a red-black card, so in like a Black War Greymon deck, you know, it could be very useful for that. Moving on from there, we've got Hookmon here. I think this card's just pretty garbage. Inheritable when attacking, trash the bottom Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. Like, that's it. When attacking, duo color, that's all we got. I'm not even going to waste more time on it. We got Surfimon here, another one of these vanillas here. Again, it's got black in it. It's 13,000 DP. You can use it with Hyssiriorimon. That's about the best you're going to get out of these cards, these new vanillas. All right, now we're on to the real black stuff here, though. First up, we got Agumon, an on-play Agumon. So you can use this with like Nokia and get that free value when used with Nokia. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with Greymon in its name and 1 Digimon card with Dragonkin in its type. Among them to your hand. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. What's really neat about this is the fact that Dragonkin is on a lot of your Greymons. So you could literally pick up like 2 Black War Greymons. One that's got Greymon in the name, and another one that's Dragonkin. So this has like some Hookmon vibes to it, where you just get to like pick up all these like crazy combinations. Now it's not as broad. It's only 2 types, Greymon or Dragonkin. That's still could be a very like vast choice of options there. So really good Agumon for sure for a Black War Greymon. Then we got Kokuamon here, and all turns players can't ignore Digivolution requirements. I don't know what I'm missing here. Players can't ignore Digivolution requirements. I don't know what this is entailing. I like right off reading this, I can't think of what this is referencing. So if you know what Kokuamon's for, please put in the comments section. Next we got Ryudemon here. Yeah, boy. This is where it starts. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its type, and 1 Yuji Musha card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in order. On play, get an added X antibody. 1 Digimon with X antibody. So very much like a Dorumon here, but it's like a second Dorumon in a way. And also you can add a Yuji off of that. So Yuji is very, very good for X antibody also. And then we're still going here. We have an inheritable. All turns while this Digimon has X antibody in its type, this Digimon gains Decoy for black. Just being able to protect your megas when they try to use against security control. This will be an invaluable card against security control. Protect your Alphamons and your Darugamons. Okay, like this is going to be very important in those matchups. Like Dorumon is very good, like generically, because you gain that memory. But in that matchup against security control specifically, if you're choosing which one you're going to evo on top of, this is probably going to be your preferred target just for that decoy. I think it's going to be very important. Next we got Thundermon, level 4 here, 2 evo cost. The name of this card, Digimon, wow, is also treated as Mamemon. Okay. I mean, there is some Mamemon support here, so I guess that's what we're going for. Next up, we got Skull Knightmon Cavalier mode, so we're getting some more Skull Knightmon support. Sadly, no one's really playing that. It's interesting. We tried playing it out. If you checked out our deck profile in our match video where we tried it out, it's okay. It floats. I think that's important. Is it you delete your Digimon and it just floats right back into 2 more. This card is card/Digimon is also treated as Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon. That's really nice because then you're going to get that value of it can be either or, whatever you need in that situation. That's super good. Whatever piece you're missing. Also, when Digivolving, this Digimon gains jamming and can't be deleted in battle against security Digimon. Oh, that's what jamming is. Sorry. I was reading the wrong thing there. And blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. So that's really cool. It can be an offensive piece or a offensive piece. So offense or defense, it's whatever piece is missing to go into your Dark Knightmon. Yeah, cool. That's a great. That really truly. If you're trying to play a Dark Knightmon deck, like this is a great support piece for that deck, I think. Next we got Genryumon here. I love just this whole like samurai armor like look we got going on here. Like 100%, these guys are definitely going into Alphamon. So 2 evo cost level 4 here. Opponent's turn, or sorry, they're not going into Alphamon, but you know what I mean here. Opponent's turn, while this Digimon has X antibody in its trait, it gains blocker. So this was I've been talking about this in other videos, but for the most part, blocker is really dead. As of now, it's just not in a good position. It's too easy to work around. The thing that kind of is okay is blockers on megas, because you can't really stun a mega. Okay, it's like there's ways, but you're not going to trash enough Digivolution sources with like Blue Hybrid to stun them. It's just not going to happen. And then all the other cards that stun, with no sources, it's not going to do anything there. A lot of stuff is like suspend your opponent's Digimon. It's like level 4 or below. So having a blocker on your level 5 or your level 6, I think is really good. So the deck is going to be all X antibody. So like this almost isn't really needed. It just restricts it basically to just an X antibody deck, which is fine. I'm all about restrictions. Doesn't need to always be super generic. Now we got a new Greymon here. This is the virus type Greymon, so it can go on black or red for 2 evo costs. Opponent's turn, while you have a red Digimon in play, this Digimon gains blocker. So again, we're giving out blocker. Where new Black War Greymon is red and black, so you'll be able to make him into a blocker. That's a cool piece. Again, the same exact argument I made for this is right here for Greymon. That's kind of neat that they came out with both of these at the same time. We're supporting 2 completely separate decks in every way, but they both black decks end up getting this basically the same card to help them. Now we got another Mamemon here in the form of Catch Mamemon. When Digivolving, return up to 4 cards with Mamemon in their names from your from your hand or trash to the top of your deck in any order. If 3 or more cards were returned in this way, with this effect, Digivolve 1 to one of your opponent's Digimon. Like I like the recursion, being able to put them back on top of the deck, so you know you're going to immediately draw into them. Mamemon decks are whatever. Digivolve 1, that's a whole lot of setup and requirements and things like that for just one single Digivolve. It's okay. It's not the best though. Next we got Hyssiriorimon. Probably butchered that one. 3 Evo cost on level 5. Pretty standard stuff here. 8,000 DP. Your turn, when a card is added to this Digimon's Digivolution cards by your effect, you can Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon card with X antibody in its type in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost. If you do, reduce the memory cost of that Digivolution by 1. This is weird. Like all the stuff we've seen so far, like nothing is triggering this. There's probably an option out there that we haven't got to yet. That's going to really make this make a whole lot more sense. Like, cause this is, and it's maybe at the end of your turn sort of situation. I'm not really sure. It's either way, it's an X antibody target, and you can just throw this like when you're picking. Like, Greymon is like 100%, I think, your level 5 that you want to go to every time. But if you're just picking something to, like, toss underneath as an inheritable from your hand, this seems like a pretty good choice. Opponent's turn, while this Digimon has X antibody in its type, it gains Reboot. So you get Reboot, Blocker, like, that's a really good combo. Like, one of the best things in Black has always been, like, Reboot, Blocker. So you can attack, be offensive on your turn, and then defensive on your turn. Or on your opponent's turn. So since that whole strategy of blockers for Black has really died off, the only way to like make blockers work is on Megas, I think. Megas with lots of inheritables. So that way they can't just get stunned or avoided, that sort of thing. So Reboot Blocker is a pretty good combination, I would say. Next, we got Metal Grey Mon Duo color. 4 Evo costs is a lot on a level 5. Most people are trying to like be as efficient as possible. So 4 Evo, black or red. But this when Digivolving effect. Trigger D-Digivolve 1 on your opponent's Digimon. Like, okay, all right, D-Digivolve, 1 could be pretty boss. Just immediately, like, there's no stipulation. I don't need like this Mamemon where I have to return 4 targets from my trash just to get D-Digivolve 1. No, like, I just get it immediately. Like, that's really nice. Then, like, it doesn't stop there. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. So if you Digivolve like an Armor into a rookie, then you just get to pop the rookie for free. So that's a really nice counter to Armors for sure, especially against like a Magnamon that's got like 15,000 DP and blocker. Well, let me just Digivolve 1, make you into a little Vmon, and then pop that Vmon. Like, that's pretty good. For 4 Evo cost, I don't mind that. That's pretty good when Digivolving. But also, your turn, when this Digimon has Dragonkin or Machine in its type, this Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. That's really good, like in conjunction with like Machinedramon or Chaosdramon, being able to really like get use out of this by clearing the opponent's board. But also, this is really going to matter with your Black or Greymons, because your Black or Greymons, once per turn, when they delete something, they can unsuspend. We'll get to it, but being able to guarantee that you get to delete something by swinging over it, because it's unsuspended, that's a great card. Next, we got Boncho Mamemon. Like, this guy looks cool, though. I really dig the design here. So 3 Evo cost, Mega, 11,000 DP, pretty standard stuff. When Digivolving, you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck for each of your opponent's Digimon. That's a lot of cards. Like, you could reveal like 9 plus cards. You may play a card with Mamemon in its name from among them, with a play cost of 10 or less without paying their cost. Trash the remaining cards. That's scary, though. Like, you've got a field full of Digimon. I literally cannot Evo into my Boncho Mamemon because I will deck myself because you have too big of a board. Like, what a crazy, like, issue to have. Yeah, so... then all turns, if you control another Digimon with Mamemon in its type, or in its name, this Digimon gains security attack +1. Like, all that, and all you get is a security attack +1. Goodness gracious. It's a meme. I like 100% Mamemon is just a meme deck. Next we got Ori Rumon. This is pretty cool. This is like used in every Alphamon deck here and in BT9 as well. For Evo cost, when Digivolving, you may place one Digimon card with X antibody and its type from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. If you do, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. That's some really nice removal there. Very Darugomon inspired. Place the card from your hand in sources. I don't think we've seen anything like that so far in our Evo chain for this whole guy. This dragon guy here. So that's the first time we've seen that effect. Then also your turn once per turn. When you place a Digimon card under one of your Digimon, this text is so small. As a Digivolution card, this Digimon plus 2000 DP and can't be deleted by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's really good. Like the DP gain going up to 14,000, like that's nuts. With the 4 Evo cost, if you have the Dorumon underneath, you can gain that 1 memory back and keep it on your turn. That's really powerful, and then can't be deleted by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. So, swing into and hit all those option cards that are in security, like Gaia Force and whatnot, that's deleting you, and you're fine. You completely dodge it. Now, granted, security control is like evolving. It's got that new yellow-purple that like stacks it to security and then trashes it, and then there's the what is it? The other one, Wyvern's Breath, that just reduces DP. Like both of those cards completely dodge this effect, which is kind of a bummer. But then it also has an inheritable on a level 6. End of attack once per turn if this Digimon has Alpha in its name, unsuspended. This is the hot ticket right here, is that inheritable. This 100% time when you get the chance, if you're playing an Alphamon deck, you throw this thing underneath as your inheritable on your Alphamons, because getting it to attack twice is so good, especially with Alphamon's ability of gaining you memory back. Yeah, very, very powerful black card for sure. A staple in all of your Alphamon decks, like forevermore probably. Next, we got the new Black War Greymon Edgelord Supreme himself here. 4 Evo costs on black or red. That's pretty steep. Combine this with a Nokia, though, and it's just a 3. Like, it's not too bad. In a vacuum, seems steep. Same with the Metal Greymon. It seems steep, but in combination with, like, a Nokia, have something like a Marcus in play, like, you'll be okay. It's not as bad as you think. And then when Digivolving, if there is a red card in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may choose your opponent's Digimon. If there is a black card in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may choose your opponent's Tamers. Delete any number of chosen cards whose total play cost adds up to 6 or less. You got to be careful on this, though. So you can delete stuff. Cool. We'll come back to it in just a second. But also, all turns, once per turn. When your opponent's Digimon are deleted, you can unsuspend this Digimon. You can Evo into him, pop a Tamer, swing over a Digimon, unsuspend, then swing a second time. Very cool card, though. Definitely looking forward to seeing him in action. Way down here, now we finally can see the Yushi that we saw, or the Yuji that we saw the effect for earlier. 3 play cost here. Your turn, when your Digimon with X antibody in its type moves from the breeding area to the battle area, gain 1 memory and trigger draw 1. That's a really cool effect. So again, drawing an X antibody is very important because we spend so much resources placing cards as inheritables. So this is really good for that. And then also the gain 1 memory. So Yuji and eventually Cool Boy will take over as your main focused tamers, and you'll actually drop the Coda. So Coda, being your memory fixer, will be less needed moving forward. But not yet. You'll still use Coda for this set. Your turn. When your black Digimon with X antibody and its type attacks, you may suspend this tamer to add 1 card with X antibody in its type from your hand under that Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. This is very good. Okay, with Alphamon, less important, but you do get it. There's some really nice inheritables in the set. You know that we've seen, getting the blocker, getting the reboot, you know, that sort of thing, or getting the unsuspend after you attack with your Alphamon. Like usually getting to set up those very powerful plays in the exact moment that you need them for your Alphamons. That's great. But in addition to that, if you're looking at Dorugamon decks, this is great for that, because the Dorugamon ability, the when attacking ability to pop something on the field, so you go Doru Greymon at a source, and then go into Doruguramon, and then you use Yuji's ability to place another card underneath. That's very powerful. So that's a tremendous amount of inheritables underneath that Dorugamon to get some very high level pops very quickly. So usually a fantastic tamer for X Antibody. Really, really, really hyped for that. Next, we got this new option card here for play cost. Main trigger, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then you may place one card with X Antibody in its type from the bottom of one of your in its type to the bottom of one of your black Digimon with X Antibody in its type to destroy one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So de-digivolve and then pop something 4 or less. So again, this is a great way to counter those armors. I've talked about it earlier and before. De-digivolve an armor and then just pop it super easily. So it gets around that that destruction immunity, basically, that armors have going for them. So de-digivolve them first. Also, placing a card underneath your Digimon. So where does that kind of matter? We go back to this guy here. Your turn, when a card is added to this Digimon's Digivolution cards by your effect, you can de-digivolve, or you can digivolve this into one of your X antibodies. So you can digivolve him up into a Mega. So whether you're using Yuji's ability of when you attack, or if you're using this this ability here to add a source, whichever method you're preferring, you can then digivolve into that Mega. So like, especially if it's passing your turn, that sort of thing. So it's almost like having Blitz. If you're like mid-attack, use Yuji to Evo into a Mega. That attack still goes through, even if the memory goes to your opponent. And then this is kind of a neat, if you're just passing turn with this, you can still just Evo up into that Mega. Also, he might have like blocker reboot or something like that underneath. So some pretty interesting plays you can do. I think it's definitely going to take some getting used to. And then security, trigger, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then destroy one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So that's nice also. Nice security effect. So it doesn't feel like a dead card getting hit in security. This could be very useful for sure. Especially something that has like security attack +5, like a War Greymon. Just de-digivolve that War Greymon by 1, and then just like completely cuts off his attacks. Like that's pretty good stuff. Next we got Dark Gaia Force for your Black War Greymons. I like this card. A lot of JP players didn't really play it. I don't know why. I think this card is great personally. 8 play costs, basically like a Gaia Force. Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total play cost adds up to 15 or less. Delete all those chosen Digimon. Like, literally, Gaia Force, if you just want to delete one thing, you can do that. Like, it's fine. Everything's going to have 15 play costs or less. You can delete anything you want. Or you have the option, instead of Gaia Force, where you can pop multiple things. So, like, lots of 2 play costs and 3 play cost rookies flooding the field. Like, pop all of them, basically. Like, all these different nice combinations you can do. Like, this feels like, what is it, Giga Blaster? Just like Giga Blaster on crack, basically. Very powerful card for sure. Lots of versatility. I'm all about it. And then security effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 15 or less. So basically, you still get your Gaia Force effect in security, so it's still fine. I think this is a great card. This, like, 100% is power creep on regular Gaia Force. Like, straight up 100% power creep on Gaia Force. Next, our last card that we're going to cover here is Sinbon Dokon. So this is 9 play cost. I don't think I've read this card before. Main, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play any number of Digimon cards with Mamemon in their names whose play cost adds up to 15 or less among them without paying their memory cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less for each Digimon played with this effect trash the remaining cards. Okay, it all starts to make a little bit more sense. Now, this is a massive 9 play cost effect, but all that setup that we had earlier of you're going to go into your Mega and trash a bunch of cards, and then you're going to play this Catch Mame, so when Digivolving, you can return 4 Mamemon to your top of your deck. After you do this Catch Mamemon, then you basically play the Sinbon Dokon, and then you're going to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then play 3 Mamemons, essentially. You instantly play 3 Mamemons onto the field. I mean, that's pretty good by itself. So without paying their memory cost, delete one of your opponent's Digimon in play was 6 or less for each Digimon played. So then you could potentially pop 3. So get 3 bodies on field, pop 3 bodies. That's pretty good. Now it is a 9 play cost. That's a lot of memory to give your opponent. So definitely tricky. It is, like I said, it is 100% a meme deck for sure. But that's going to do it for black. Definitely excited for some X antibodies shenanigans and some black or Grey Mon. Black going to be in a great position this set. Really looking forward to black.